It's wild, isn't it? The brighter the spotlight gets, the more people try to pull you down into the shadows. And no one knows that better right now than Shedeur Sanders. From the moment his name started gaining traction, not as Deion's son, but as his own man, the critics lined up like it was open mic night for hot takes. Every Instagram post? Picked apart. Every game? Overanalyzed. Every moment of confidence? Misread as cockiness. Because that's what the spotlight does. It doesn't just illuminate your talent. It attracts the doubters like moths to a flame. And Shedeur? He's been burning hot for a while now. Let's not forget, the second he put on a Colorado jersey, people decided they had his story figured out. He's only starting because of his dad.
If you're into the real story and all the messy twists they don't show on highlight reels, go ahead and subscribe. And if you're sticking around to see how this Browns QB chaos plays out, you should definitely be subscribed.
Let's see how he does against real competition. He's flashy, but can he actually play? Over and over. Doubt layered on doubt. The kind of noise that could bury a less focused player. The kind of pressure that breaks even the most promising young stars. But Shedeur didn't flinch. He didn't fire back on social media. He didn't try to prove anything with his words. He let his work do the talking. His game got sharper. His film got cleaner. His leadership got louder, not with speeches, but with consistency. And just when the haters thought they were gaining ground, just when the he's overrated brigade started to feel bold, Patrick Mahomes dropped the mic. One quote, one sentence, and everything changed. He's got everything you want in a quarterback. That was it. That was the moment the entire tone shifted. Because it's one thing to get praise from analysts or college coaches. But when the face of a league, the guy with 2 MVPs, 2 Super Bowl rings, and a one-way ticket to Canton, stops and points to you as the next in line, that's not praise. That's validation. It's Mahomes saying, I've watched the tape. I've seen the footwork. I know the pressure. And yeah, this kid's a real deal. Suddenly, the narrative flipped. The same media personalities who were side-eyeing Shedeur last season are now revisiting their takes like they're erasing a bad tweet. Fans who rolled their eyes at his confidence are now cutting highlight reels with dramatic music and calling him the future. Coaches who shrugged him off as raw potential are now triple-checking their draft boards. That's the Mahomes effect. It doesn't just amplify talent, it spotlights the truth. And the truth is this: Shedeur Sanders is ready. Not ready someday. Not ready with time. Not ready if the right system fits. He's NFL ready, mentally, physically, emotionally. And maybe most importantly, culturally. Because Shedeur isn't just bringing a skill set to the league. He's bringing a whole vibe shift. He's calm under pressure. He studies like a vet. He commands the huddle. He can launch a perfect deep ball, then go handle a post-game presser like a seasoned pro. He's built for the modern game, and Mahomes knows it. So what does that mean now? It means the doubters are running out of air. All the people who said he was a social media quarterback, quiet now. All the folks who said he couldn't hang in a pro-style offense, they're watching tape in silence. The critics who said he was riding his dad's coattails, they're watching the son forge a completely new legacy. One that's got nothing to do with interceptions and everything to do with influence. Because that's what Shedeur brings, influence. Not just on the field, but in the locker room, in the media, in the culture. He's not afraid to lead, to speak, to show confidence in his abilities. And that scares people, especially in a league where quarterbacks are still expected to be cut from one very specific mold. But the mold is cracking. And Shedeur's the one holding the hammer. Think about it. When was the last time a rookie quarterback, still months away from his debut, had this kind of gravity? Players don't usually get this level of attention unless they've already got a Super Bowl ring or a massive scandal. Shedeur has neither. He just has game. And now, Mahomes has handed him the unofficial torch. It's not a rivalry. It's a recognition. Mahomes isn't saying, I'm watching my back. He's saying, I'm watching you rise. And the league better be watching too. Because this isn't just hype anymore. This is a movement. Front offices are reevaluating their priorities. Teams that thought they could wait a year for a new QB? Now they're panicking, wondering if Shedeur will even be on the board when they pick. You've got offensive coordinators daydreaming about schemes that put him in motion, on the run, making decisions at the line like a 10-year vet. You've got entire marketing teams ready to roll out billboards and campaigns. Jersey mock-ups are probably being printed as we speak, because everyone sees what Mahomes sees. A game changer. And with the doubters scrambling to reframe their arguments, Shedeur is still doing what he's always done, putting in the work. He's not sitting back basking in the Mahomes praise. He's back in the film room, back on the field, back in the pocket. Because for Shedeur, this isn't the end of a debate. It's the start of a takeover. He's not here to prove people wrong anymore. That part's handled. He's here to prove himself right. To show the world that he wasn't just born into football royalty. He earned his crown with grit, reps, and relentless self-belief. And thanks to Mahomes, the world finally sees it. So now it's your turn. Are you still doubting Shedeur? Or have you finally joined the camp that sees this for what it is, a generational shift unfolding in real time? Do you think Mahomes is on point? Or are you still holding out for more proof? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Sound off on where you think Shedeur should land in the draft. Would your team trade up for him? Should they? And of course, don't forget to subscribe. Because this quarterback revolution, it's just getting started. And if you blink, you're going to miss history being made. If you thought the Shedeur Sanders story peaked with a quote from Patrick Mahomes, think again. That moment? That was just the ignition switch. What's happening now is the combustion. Because Mahomes didn't just elevate Shedeur's name, he weaponized it. That one statement turned a rising rookie into a talking point at every sports bar, team facility, and front office war room in the league. Suddenly, everyone had to pick a side. You're either with the new wave or you're on borrowed time. And here's where it gets really fun. You've got analysts scrambling to rewrite their pre-draft rankings. You've got former players going on air like, "I knew Shedeur was like that," as if they weren't just on a podcast 3 weeks ago saying he needed to sit a year and mature. Nope. That window is closed. That era is over. Because the Mahomes cosign is like getting knighted in today's NFL. It's the difference between being a promising talent and being the guy the league has to plan around. Let's be real for a second. How often does a player step into the league and immediately get talked about in the same sentence as Mahomes, Allen, Burrow, and Lamar? Not as a fan prediction, not as clickbait, but because actual players are starting to say, watch out for him. And let's not ignore the psychological shift that creates. Because now it's not just fans and media buzzing, it's defensive coordinators. They're not laughing off his highlight reels anymore. They're watching tape, studying tendencies, wondering how you contain a quarterback who can throw 60 yards off platform and still has the poise to run a 2-minute drill like he's done it 1,000 times. And this isn't just athletic ability. This is calculated leadership. See, Shedeur doesn't need to scream on the sidelines or point at his chest in press conferences. He doesn't need the rah-rah. His leadership is quieter, sharper, like a scalpel, not a sledgehammer. He earns respect with his routine, not his resume. You talk to players around him, and they'll tell you. He's the first one in the building and the last one out. He treats walkthroughs like game day. He's studying coverages while everyone else is still waking up. And you can't teach that. That's DNA work. And it's no accident. He was raised by Deion Sanders. Yes, but don't get it twisted. He wasn't spoon-fed this. Deion didn't just hand him a golden playbook and say, go have fun. He challenged him, put pressure on him, made him earn it. Shedeur had to walk into every room with the weight of his last name and still prove he belonged. And guess what? Now he's owning those rooms with Mahomes-level confidence. Let's talk about that for a second. Because Mahomes doesn't just throw compliments out there. He's a calculated guy. He knows the ripple effect of his words. He understands the game inside and outside the lines. So when he takes the time to lift someone up publicly, it's for a reason. It means he sees something in Shedeur that reminds him of himself. Not just the skill, not just the footwork, not just the ability to sling the ball 40 yards off one foot, but the intangibles. The way Shedeur controls the rhythm of a game. The way he manages chaos. The way he thinks. That's what separates good quarterbacks from great ones. And Shedeur has that. He's got that rare trait where the game seems to slow down for him, where everything is in sync. And when you combine that with his work ethic, his football IQ, and now the confidence of knowing the best quarterback in the world sees it too, that's a cocktail for destruction for everyone else. Let's zoom out for a moment. What Mahomes really did was accelerate Shedeur's timeline. The league was going to come around eventually, sure, but now they're sprinting to catch up. Franchises that were quietly scouting him are now aggressively retooling their draft plans. Mock drafts are suddenly slotting him top 5. Commentators are daring to ask, what if he's better prepared than Caleb or Drake? And guess what? It's not a ridiculous question anymore. Because readiness isn't just about college stats. It's about NFL mindset. And Shedeur has shown over and over again that he's already operating like a pro. He's got his own film setup. He studies his own mechanics. He critiques his own footwork. He treats off-season training like it's week 10. The dude's out here running 2-minute drills in the rain like it's the playoffs. That's not a player with potential. That's a quarterback preparing for a hostile takeover. And now, the fans feel it too. They're not watching him with curiosity anymore. They're watching with expectation. They're hungry for that first moment, that first start, that first touchdown pass where the camera pans to his face and he's calm, unbothered, ready for more. You can almost hear the commentators already. Is this the start of the Shedeur Sanders era? Spoiler alert. Yes. Yes, it is. And if you're a fan of a franchise stuck in quarterback purgatory, yeah, you know who you are, you better pray your front office has the guts to make the move. Because this isn't a player you can just wait on. He won't be around in the second round. He won't sit quietly behind a veteran for 2 seasons. Shedeur Sanders is the kind of quarterback who walks in and reshapes the identity of an entire franchise. And now, thanks to Mahomes, the league knows it. So here's what's coming next. Green Circle, a bidding war to move up in the draft. Green Circle PR departments scrambling to prepare rookie campaigns. Green Circle fan bases refreshing Twitter every 10 minutes, waiting for rumors. Green Circle quarterbacks currently sitting in the QB1 seat, feeling that pressure mount. Because the moment Shedeur steps on that field, it's over. He's going to make the game look easy. And when he does, people are going to pretend they always believed. But you'll remember this moment. The Mahomes moment. The one that turned speculation into inevitability. The one that proved what Shedeur always knew in his bones. That he's not here to fit in. He's here to take over. This isn't your average rookie-to-watch narrative. This is tectonic shift territory. What Shedeur Sanders is doing. It's not just impressive. It's disruptive. And Patrick Mahomes co-signing it? That wasn't just a headline. That was a declaration of war on the status quo. And now the football world is in full panic or full celebration, depending on where you stand. Let's back up a sec and ask the real question on everyone's mind. Why is Mahomes' praise such a big deal? Because Patrick Mahomes isn't just the face of the NFL. He's the standard. When Mahomes talks quarterbacks, people listen. He doesn't do fluff. He doesn't give casual praise to make headlines. If he says a QB has everything, it's because he sees something familiar. He sees the ability to process the game at lightning speed. He sees control under pressure. He sees command, not just talent. He sees a threat. And if Mahomes sees Shedeur as the next big problem for defensive coordinators, then defensive coordinators are already losing sleep. This isn't just about ability. It's about the aura, the quiet intensity, the sense that when Shedeur walks into a room, something shifts. That when he lines up behind center, he's not just running plays. He's running the whole narrative. There's this mythology forming around Shedeur Sanders, and it's happening in real time. And what makes it even crazier, he's doing it under the heaviest microscope possible. Every move, every post, every outfit, every sideline stare, scrutinized, picked apart, replayed in slow motion by analysts hungry to find cracks in the image. And guess what? There are none. Because Shedeur doesn't flinch. He doesn't react. He executes. And that, more than anything, is what Mahomes respects. Not just that Shedeur can sling a 50-yard dart on the run. Not just that he can read a cover, to defense like it's a children's book. But that he does all of it without breaking character. Without forcing the moment. Without trying to prove something. He's just built for it. And the scariest part? He knows it now. See, early on, you could sense that Shedeur had a chip on his shoulder. That, I'm going to prove all of you wrong energy. It worked. It fueled him. But now, he doesn't need the chip. Because he's not playing to prove anything. He's playing to take what's his. That's the shift. That's the moment when a young quarterback becomes dangerous. Not when they're trying to survive the spotlight, but when they realize they own it. That's where Shedeur is right now. He's not fighting the noise. He's absorbing it, flipping it, turning it into fuel. And that Mahomes stamp? That just made him bulletproof. Imagine being a GM watching that unfold. Imagine being a scout who wasn't sold a few months ago, now sitting in a meeting like, hey, maybe we rethink our QB1 board. It's happening all over the league. Because when someone as elite as Mahomes publicly aligns with a prospect, it moves mountains. It shifts public opinion. It makes teams rethink risk profiles. It puts pressure on other teams to act. It also does something else. It frees Shedeur to play his game unapologetically. No more fake humility. No more he's good for a young guy. No more let's see how he handles pressure. That phase is over. Now it's about what team will give him the keys. What offense will unleash him. How soon until we see him in prime time. Because let's be honest, when Shedeur walks onto that NFL field for the first time, it's going to feel like a movie. And if you think that's hype, check the history. Every era has a moment where the new guard shows up, and the league is never the same. We had it with Mahomes. We had it with Lamar. We had it with Burrow. Now it's Shedeur's turn. But here's where it gets even more cinematic. Shedeur isn't just bringing elite talent to the table. He's bringing an entire cultural movement with him. The style, the poise, the calm intensity, the Dion DNA, the refusal to shrink to make others comfortable. The understanding that greatness isn't about fitting in, it's about reshaping the frame. And that is what separates him from every other prospect in this draft. Because while other quarterbacks are focused on learning schemes, Shedeur's already building a brand, commanding locker rooms, and challenging norms, without saying a word out of pocket. That's not just rare. That's terrifying for anyone not ready. Because the league isn't just about arm strength anymore. It's about presence. It's about impact. It's about how you lead, how you show up, and how you make people believe. And Shedeur has mastered that before even taking a professional snap. So now the question becomes, where does he land? Because let's be honest, some teams are built for a guy like Shedeur. Others, they're not ready. You can't draft this kid and ask him to play it safe. You can't throw him into a broken system and expect a miracle. You need a franchise ready to go all in on the new wave. A franchise that understands this is more than football. This is legacy. This is culture. This is next-gen quarterbacking. And if a team's not ready to embrace all of it, they'll waste the moment. But if the right team makes the right call, we're looking at decade-defining greatness. Think about it. A quarterback with Mahomes' skill potential, Jalen Hurts' discipline, Joe Burrow's confidence, and a Dion-level understanding of narrative? Yeah, that's not a player. That's a problem for everyone else. All right, let's land this plane. Because you've heard the hype. You've seen the Mahomes quote. You know the scouts are scrambling, the analysts are walking back takes, and the fans are getting louder by the second. And Shedeur? He's just putting in work. Quietly. Relentlessly. Like a storm building offshore. So now it's up to the league. Will they be ready when it hits? Or will they be left fumbling? Try to explain why they let another generational talent slip through the cracks? Time will tell. But we already know this much. Shedeur Sanders isn't hoping to be the future of the NFL. He's planning on it. And with Mahomes clearing the path, the league better get used to the new order. Look at the patterns. Look at the pieces. Every few years, a quarterback comes along who doesn't just play the position. They redefine it. They bend the expectations. They make coaches rewrite their playbooks, defenses rewire their schemes, and fans completely reimagine what a quarterback can be. Mahomes did it. Burrow did it. Lamar did it. And now, Shedeur's knocking on the door with a sledgehammer. The precision is already there. The reads, the throws, the mechanics, it's all NFL level. But that's not even the scary part. The scary part is the mindset. Shedeur thinks like a 10-year vet. He's not rushing throws or forcing plays. He's reading defenses like textbooks. He's manipulating safeties with his eyes like he's been in the league for years. That calmness in the pocket, that's not something you coach. That's something you have. And yes, some of it's DNA. He's got Coach Prime in his blood. But most of it, it's the grind. The film sessions. The reps, the pressure. The noise, which he absorbs, processes, and turns into fuel. And now, with Mahomes speaking up, it's like someone flipped the lights on. Suddenly, everyone sees what Shedeur's been showing us the whole time. You don't get a Mahomes nod if you're just decent. You get it when you're dangerous. So now we're in this moment, this in-between space. He hasn't taken his first NFL snap yet, but he's already making ripples that stretch across the league. Quarterbacks who've been coasting are now glancing nervously at draft boards. Fans of rebuilding franchises are praying their GMs don't screw it up. Sports media is circling like hawks, waiting for the first viral clip. It's coming. That debut game? It's going to be a cultural event. Not just because of the player, but because of what he represents. Swagger with substance. Style with strategy. A new kind of quarterback who doesn't apologize for being excellent and doesn't wait for permission to lead. And when he takes that field, when he throws that first laser down the sideline, cool as ever, unbothered by the chaos around him, the entire football world will have no choice but to admit it. This kid's not the next Mahomes. He's the first Shedeur Sanders. All right, you've heard me talk. Now it's your turn. Do you believe the hype? Or do you still need to see him light up an NFL defense before you buy in? Drop your take in the comments. Name your dream team for Shedeur. And if you're rolling with the new era of quarterbacks, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Because Shedeur is just getting warmed up. And trust me, you'll want a front row seat.